Welcome back, everybody, to week 2 of my pantry challenge. If you missed last week's video, there were a lot of successful recipes, a few failures. I feel like I hardly did any damage to my pantry or to my freezer. There's still so much food in there. For anybody new, hello, my name is Meg. I am lactose intolerant, I am gluten intolerant, and I eat on a phase 3 low FODMAP diet for digestive reasons. My husband, Mike, does not. If you're curious as to what the rules are for this pantry challenge, I recommend you go back and check out week 1 video of this series. And before I jump into the menu planning for this week, I noticed when I was going through the recipes I was making last week, there was an awful lot of sugar in the dinner recipes that I picked. I don't know if it's just the season or it was just gravitating to them because they sounded good, but this week it is my goal to cut back on the amount of sugar in my menu. So I'm gonna check through all the things I have and go ahead and make the menu up for this week. Here is what I ended up coming up with for this week. So for breakfast, for me, I'm either going to make baked oatmeal or egg bake if I do make something ahead of time. If not, maybe just regular oatmeal and potatoes and eggs. Something simple and easy to make in the morning. Mike, going to continue doing the galoshes for breakfast. He likes them. Lunches, it's going to be super simple again. Tuna salad. I found a recipe for carrot and lentil soup that sounds really good. Or just do leftovers. Example, I have some chicken in there that I can make quesadillas with. If you guys were wondering what Mike does for lunches, generally he kind of just picks what he's going to do. So sometimes he takes leftovers. Right now we have pepperoni and saltines. He's been doing that. Or often he just does nothing and eats a big dinner when he comes home. For dinners, I only have 5 listed here because 2 of these are going to make an exorbitant amount of food. So we'll have plenty of leftovers for dinners. So number 1, almond crusted chicken with potato. Number 2, barbacoa pork. I found a huge pork roast in the freezer. I forgot I had it. This is one of our favorite ways to make pork roast, and we're either going to do tacos or bowls with it. Then meatloaf with mashed potatoes, and I have frozen corn that we can have on the side. Crispy chicken wings with fries. And lastly, another new recipe to me is butter chicken with rice. I'll probably mix in a little bit of frozen spinach in with it for a little bit of vegetables. And the pork and the meatloaf are going to make so many leftovers that we'll definitely have enough for 7 meals out of all of this food. And that is the plan for this week. If you're wondering what I'm going to be drinking during this pantry challenge, in the morning I usually have a glass of just plain black coffee. In the afternoon, I usually have some tea, or if I'm feeling spicy, maybe a latte. But the majority of the time, I am just going to be drinking plain old water. For the first breakfast on the second week of the pantry challenge, you guys might be able to hear it in my voice, but I'm not feeling great today. So I want something that's going to be a little bit comforting and kind of simple, to be honest. I'm just going to chop up this potato, cook it up in the air fryer, make some scrambled eggs, and have a piece of bacon. And I'm just going to keep it super simple. And there is the final result for breakfast. Topped it with a little bit of my salsa verde, of course. I'm finishing up the last of the baked potato soup today for lunch, and the little cheddar biscuit. I just put a little bit of cracked pepper on it, and that's it. So I am trying a new recipe today, crispy air fried chicken wings. Here are the chicken wings all thawed out. Then this is the seasoning blend that it suggests to use. It's smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and cornstarch. It also recommends doing like a baking soda or baking powder marinade for an hour. I don't have time for that today, so I just added a little bit of salt to the mixture instead, and I hope it'll still turn out okay. Onion powder, garlic powder, obviously not low FODMAP. Just switch in your favorite chicken seasoning blend in its place. So that's that for the chicken. On the side, I'm just going to be making a little bit of the usual French fries that I throw in the oven. And that's it for all the ingredients for tonight's dinner. It seems like it's going to be pretty quick and easy. And there's the final product, the chicken wings and the French fries. Just a simple little dinner tonight. This morning for breakfast, I had the exact same bowl as yesterday. So for lunch today, leftovers are inspiration and gluten-free tortillas. I have leftover chicken from lunch or from a dinner last week. These gluten-free tortillas that were in the freezer and some other knickknacks. I'm making myself a quesadilla for lunch. Though this seems like a huge amount of ingredients, I mean, it is. This is everything for the meatloaf recipe that I'm going to be making tonight. This recipe and all the other recipes that I make are going to be down in the description box, guys, in case you see anything that you're interested in. But I'm making a few alterations. Of course, I don't have a mixture of pork and beef. I just have beef, so I'm only using that. It asks to wrap it in bacon. I'm skipping that step. I don't have Dijon mustard. I have stone ground mustard. And I'm cutting out the sugar that the sauce is asking for just to save on that. So I'm just going to follow the directions and get everything put together. Right, now that the meatloaf's done, I'm going to let it rest for a little bit. But also, since I had some extra time, I decided to make some proper baked potatoes in the air fryer, 400 degrees, 40 minutes until they're nice and done. And they look, it's been a while since I've had a proper baked potato, so I'm pretty excited about that. Well, there is everything all done. Got the onions on the potato. That's Mike's potato. And I got a couple slices for myself. I garnished with a little bit of arugula to add a nice little peppery flavor to it. I think that will be a nice complement to it. And that is dinner for tonight, and probably leftovers for at least another day. Breakfast for today is chocolate, protein powder, some oatmeal, some dried cranberries, some pumpkin seeds, and a dollop of my homemade lactose-free yogurt on top. For lunch today, I had the exact same thing as yesterday, so I didn't film it. And then leftovers, the exact same thing that we had last night for dinner, we're having again tonight. So that summarizes a quick one for today. Breakfast today is similar to a couple days ago, but this time I did over easy eggs instead. But it's the same potatoes with a little bit of bacon. I'm actually not that hungry after that huge breakfast I had, so I think I'm just going to have a bowl of these Rice Check knockoff cereal for lunch today. Keeping it super simple, I guess. I asked Mike what he wanted for dinner out of the items that we had left on the menu, and he said that he wanted the barbacoa pork, which I don't mind because I ate a small lunch, so it'll give me an opportunity to have a bigger dinner and balance everything out. So I've got my pork roast here and all these ingredients. It actually calls for chipotle paste. I'm just going to replace it with an equal part of my homemade low FODMAP taco seasoning. Obviously, for my low FODMAP friends, these are not low FODMAP, so just omit them and it'll be fine. This is the coriander or cilantro that I could afford for my garden. My plant is still a little bit small. It's still bouncing back from the really hot summer we had. If you guys are wondering what plants I have out in my garden, I have cilantro, I have thyme, which has not bounced back yet from the summer heat. I also have some parsley, which is doing fantastic, and a little bit of sage. I love having the fresh herbs, but my cilantro is still rather small, so I didn't want to take more than this off of it. So all of that, I'm just going to put it in my Instant Pot, and I'm going to slow cook it for probably 5 or 6 hours. The Instant Pot cooks a little bit on the hotter side, so maybe I'll check it at 5 hours and see how it looks. Over here, I have the ingredients for making quick pickled red onion, obviously not low FODMAP in like any way whatsoever. It does have a little bit of sugar in it, but I've been really good this week, so I think just a little bit of pickled onion with sugar in it won't be too bad for me. And yeah, that's going to be it for dinner. I'm going to get these ingredients plus a little salt and pepper boiled up, dumped over the chopped up onion, all these things in the Instant Pot. And that is going to be all the work I need to do for dinner tonight. And it's still really early. Since we're making tortillas tonight, I have this package of corn tortillas. And to make pliable tortillas, the best way I've made it is putting it in a cast iron, but I'm tired and today's a really busy day. So 350 oven for about 12 or 15 minutes. Just take 5 or 6 tortillas, wrap them up into a little packet, throw them in the oven, like I said, for about 12 to 15 minutes. If you need more tortillas, make more packets. It's the fastest method. But one of you guys told me that you heat it up on the open flame of your gas stove. I mean, I bet you that would be good. I mean, obviously, I can't do that. But I bet you, if you were super careful about it, I bet you that would be absolutely delicious. So there's a third method that I've actually never tried. But yeah, I'm going to get these warmed up. And after the pork came out, I shredded it up. And these are the tacos. I put some purple onion on it. Like I said, not low FODMAP. I also put some of my not low FODMAP taqueria verde sauce on this. It has garlic in it. So those are things you can obviously replace with other things, like you could do pickled jalapenos on this with your favorite low FODMAP salsa. But I just want to point out, these are some of the most beautiful crimson, like maroon colored, I don't know how to describe it, purple onions. I've never made them where they've turned out this color. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful and vibrant, and I love that. But that is dinner for tonight, and probably there's plenty of leftovers, so I'm definitely going to be eating this at least 1 or 2 more times. For breakfast today, I had the exact same thing as yesterday. I've been being really unoriginal this week, but it's just been tasting so good. For lunch today, we're actually going out on like a day out, so we're having kind of a picnic lunch. I have these gluten-free tortillas that were in the freezer. Obviously, they stuck together pretty badly and they look a little ugly and gnarly, but I'll make it work. I'm going to go ahead and make like pizza rolls. I already made some low FODMAP pizza sauce here to dip it in. I'm just going to put some of my lactose-free yogurt smeared on it, a little bit of cheese, some salt, some pepper, some pepperonis, and then I'm going to roll it up and we'll dip it in the sauce for lunch. And that'll be a quick and easy lunch. And here is our little picnic lunch. Mike's has more of everything in it, pepperoni, cheese, all of it, plus extra sauce than mine does. I chopped up a couple of kiwis on the side to take with us, and this is our little picnic lunch out. So that number one, we don't spend money on food while we're out, and number two, I know that I can eat this, and I know it isn't going to cause me any stomach problems. So that is an extra bonus. But this is our fancy picnic lunch for today. We went up into the mountains this day to enjoy the snow, and sitting enjoying the view with our picnic lunch was a delight. So here is dinner for tonight, and this is basically leftovers. It's a baked potato with some of the pork just sliced up from last night, and I topped it with some of the purple onions that I made as well, and 20 grams of barbecue sauce. This is the barbecue sauce I used. It is not low FODMAP friendly. It does contain garlic powder in it, but garlic I can have okay. And the quantity that I used, I've had pretty good luck with this one. So yeah, and it's also one of my favorite brands, so I'm happy that I can have it. But that's it for tonight, a barbecued pork baked potato. For breakfast today, being uninteresting and unexciting again, vanilla protein powder in some oatmeal topped with cranberries, 15 grams of cranberries, 10 grams of walnuts, a little bit of cinnamon, and that is breakfast today. For lunch today, I enjoyed our little picnic lunch so much yesterday. I literally just made the same thing again. This is even leftover sauce. I didn't use it all yesterday. But yeah, this was tasty, and so I definitely wanted to have it again today. Gathered all of the ingredients for dinner tonight. We're going to do almond crusted chicken, So I've got some white meat chicken here. The recipe actually calls for garlic, but I'm just going to use smoked paprika and turmeric instead because that sounds better to me. But yeah, this is the ingredients. Plus, I'm going to be making rice. I'm going to be using chicken stock to make the rice instead of just regular water. So yeah, it'll be a little crusted almond chicken bowl. I'll probably top it with barbecue sauce again. I'm not lying. Probably will. So kind of got everything set up now. I've got my chicken sliced up, salt and peppered. Got my egg with a little bit of salt in it. I've got my seasoning plus the almond powder. I've already started breading them, and I'm putting them on this mesh rack so that they'll help cook a little bit more evenly. I'm going to finish getting these all breaded up and put on the rack, and then I'll throw them in the oven. For the rice, I'm going to be making in the Instant Pot. 1 cup long grain rice. I rinsed it off really good. I've got 1.25 cups of chicken broth made from bouillon cubes. That's what the little chunks are. And I'll just put the rice in here and I will pressure cook this on high for 5 minutes. And the rice is that easy. There is the final result for dinner. Put a little fresh parsley on it. Decided to do a side of corn. But there's the chicken on top of the rice. I originally was going to do honey mustard on top of this, but we are out of mustard, so that's why I ended up doing barbecue sauce again. And just like before, this is the barbecue sauce that I used. I used 15 grams of it. And that is dinner tonight. So I must admit, for breakfast, this is a lot of food. But I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better, and I did a big workout this morning, so I couldn't even decide if I wanted a sweet or a savory breakfast. So I have a yogurt parfait with a little bit of chocolate protein powder and a small amount of this granola on top. And then I used one of my gluten-free tortillas, an egg, a little bit of egg white, a small pinch of cheese, and a piece of bacon. And I made a quesadilla out of it, and I'm gonna dip it in this salsa. This has garlic in it, so it is not low FODMAP, but I am so hungry this morning. I'm hoping that this will help fill me up with all this protein going on. So that is my final breakfast for this pantry challenge for the week. For lunch today, I had such a big breakfast so late. I have one of these own chocolate protein shakes left, so I think I'm just going to have this for lunch today. For the final dinner for this week of the pantry challenge, I wanted to try a new recipe, something fun. I found a low FODMAP buttered chicken recipe. There's really only one alteration I made as far as ingredients go. Well, I mean, I'm not using ghee. I'm using plant-based butter. But they also ask for coconut milk. I don't have that. So it's going to be just regular milk. And, I guess I also forgot. It asks for white meat chicken. I have drums, which I think will be delicious in it. It will alter the cooking time a little bit, but yeah. That is what I'm going to be making for dinner tonight. We're going to be having it with rice, same rice that I made the other night. So I'm excited. I haven't had butter chicken in a while. I mean, I can tell just looking at the recipe, it's not going to be as good as regular butter chicken, obviously, because it's not going to have all the fat in it. But I'm hopeful that this will be delicious. But I think that using a fattier cut of meat will help add that richness back in, at least a little bit, that I'm losing by not having the full fat coconut milk. But I'm going to cook these up in the pan first, get a little bit of a sear on them, and then I'll just cook the recipe as written from there on. I just added the stock to this, and I realized that if I add the milk at this point, it will probably curdle. So in order to prevent that, I think I'll add it closer to the end and just add maybe a touch more stock to this so that it doesn't burn when the chicken cooks. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing for the cooking process, since the legs are definitely going to take probably 20 to 25 minutes to cook versus the 15 that the recipe calls for. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do though. Just wait till the end for the milk. Chicken is all nestled into the sauce. I'll let that simmer for a little bit, and then I'm gonna cover it up and let it finish up. When the chicken finally came up to temp, I pulled it out. I added some frozen spinach that I had left in the freezer, and then I put in a little bit of milk, let that cook without coming to a boil for a little bit to help thicken it up. And this is the sauce that it made. And this is the final product right here. There's the rice. I took the chicken off of the bone, topped it with a little bit of the sauce and a little bit of cilantro on top. I already tried the sauce, not authentic like I expected. It doesn't have that same richness or like spiciness, or I guess what's the right word, or flavor that authentic buttered chicken would have, but it's still pretty tasty. I think I would probably make this recipe again. So yeah, that is the complete dinner for tonight. And that's the end of the second week of my pantry challenge. Unfortunately, I was so sick this week that I wasn't as inspired as I usually am, but having my menu pre-planned for me, I didn't even have to go to the grocery store. I knew I had everything I needed for these recipes. Plus having one like recipes like the meatloaf and the pork that made so many leftovers was like game changing this week, and I'm very thankful that I had the meal plan set out that I did. I'm very happy with it this week. As far as the state of my fridge, freezer, and pantry, my fridge, I have like a little bit of leftovers and a very small amount of produce left. I have like one apple and a couple carrots. My freezer is so much more empty than it was. I only have a couple of like packets of wings left, a couple packets of white meat chicken. I found a couple packages of drumsticks in there. I still have a whole bunch of steak and several pounds of ground beef though, so you know, at least I still have something backlogged in my freezer, but it's a lot emptier than it was. As far as my pantry, it looks so much better. I can actually find things in it now. And I've almost used up all of the grains that I had. I think I might have like a pound of rice left, maybe a pound and a half of oatmeal left. So yeah, I think I cycled through the stock that I had pretty well during this pantry challenge. Now will I continue for a week 3? With like the meat that I have left, I definitely have enough of that I could do week 3. But the produce that I have is basically not. I have a few carrots, an apple, a little bit of frozen green bell pepper, corn, and spinach. And that's really all I have left. And I would like to have more produce than that. I'm basically I'm out of milk. Like I said, I'm out of grains. So I think technically I could do it, but it would be pushing the limits of what I currently have. So I have learned a lot from doing this challenge, and maybe next time, like I said, I'll try doing 3 weeks. Looking at how it went, I honestly think I could probably do a pantry challenge maybe 2 or 3 times a year and cycle through the stock, and it forces me to learn new recipes at the same time. I tried some new recipes during this challenge that I normally wouldn't have tried, and I'm glad that I did. So that will be the end of this pantry challenge. If you guys would like to see more content like this, you know, like button, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that I release in the future. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you back here next week. Bye guys.